Right now at 5, Coffeyville honors fallen heroes as veterans gather to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
And we've got some patchy drizzle, more showers, and even a couple of thunderstorms on the way. Well, look at that forecast, get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, local community members come together on Memorial Day to remember those who served.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Tuesday. It's May the 27th. We have more rain on the way. This is something some of you folks probably can relate with. You ever slept like so well that like you wake up in the middle of the night and you feel like you missed your alarm? Like that's how well you were sleeping. Yeah, you sit up and you're like, oh, I've still got like 3 hours, you know? That happens. But it bothers you though because you freak out for a moment and you're like wide awake for a minute because you're like, thought I missed my alarm. Well, thankfully it wasn't the case, and hopefully that isn't the case with any of you folks. Your alarm going off and you're hearing it. And as you head out, there's nothing that shows up on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, but we do have some patchy drizzle out there. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh, though. See, the road's still a bit wet, not as wet. Some of that drizzle is going to start to come to an end, at least briefly for us this morning. MoDOT camera 32nd and Range Line looking good as well. Very deserted at this time of the morning. Now, as I mentioned, the Skywatch Storm Tracker drizzle, those little sprinkles, they're too finite for the radar beam to pick up on them. That's why we're not showing anything, but there is some drizzle. In fact, when I was coming in and out of Joplin, now bear in mind, it's been a couple hours ago, but there was some heavy drizzle at times, and then it just suddenly almost started to cut off as I got close to the state line there on Old 96. So the only actual rain that we can see has kind of fallen apart. We got a few showers and even a couple of, well, this isn't moving, but that's okay. A couple of thunderstorms down toward the Oklahoma City area. Now, eventually this will fill back in and we'll have more scattered showers, couple of thunderstorms out there, but we're going to start to get an opportunity to dry out. The feature track, I think, is holding on to the rain a little too late. I think by about 5, 6 o'clock this evening, we're done with rain. But then we're going to be dealing with patchy fog overnight tonight. We're going to be 57 right now in Joplin, 58 over in Pittsburgh and across the area. Temperatures right about where we figured they'd be. Not much movement from yesterday, mid-upper 50s, and we have some 60-degree readings out there as well this morning. Heading into the afternoon, we'll be a little warmer because, again, we'll start to see the clouds break up a bit in between these showers, get a little more sunlight in there. We're still below normal by quite a bit, tune of almost 15 degrees in some cases. A few scattered shower storms wrapping up by about 5, 6 at the latest, and our highs today mid-60s, maybe some upper 60s with a north breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Again, we'll get a break in the rain overnight tonight into tomorrow, and then late tomorrow it does return. How long does it stick around in this next round? Well, stick with us. We'll have a look at your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, a former police chief is on the run after escaping from a prison in Arkansas. Grant Hardin, the former police chief of Gateway, Arkansas, escaped from the North Central Unit in Calico Rock, where he has been held since 2017. Now, while officials have not released many details due to the investigation, they did say Hardin disguised himself to mimic law enforcement when he escaped the North Central Unit, which you can see in this picture. Hardin was serving a 30-year sentence for the October 2017 murder of James Appleton. He was also serving a 50-year sentence for the rape of an elementary school teacher in Rogers, Arkansas. Corrections officials say they are working closely with local, state, and federal agencies. And to be the first to see breaking news, whether in sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, community members gathered at Webb City's Mount Hope Memorial Park for a Memorial Day remembrance. Charlie Tutu put together the service with presentations of colors and the playing of taps. The Webb City mayor says it's important that at least part of the holiday is about honoring our veterans.
I like to have fun. I think that our nation likes to have fun, but there are occasions when we need to set that aside and just be reflective and somber and remember we didn't get here on our own.
The ceremony yesterday included the placement of the ashes of U.S. Navy veteran Mark E. Reynolds. Well, on Memorial Day, we remember those who've gone before, including our nation's veterans. A ceremony in Coffeyville, Kansas yesterday afternoon was originally scheduled to be outside but moved indoors due to weather concerns. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, this wasn't about the location, but more importantly, the memories and gratitude for those who serve.
I joined the Marine Corps to get out and see the world and have more opportunities.
Paul Melise is from Coffeyville, and he's a Vietnam vet. He says he was like any young person working in the food industry. He was looking for discipline in his life, but more importantly, he had a message.
It starts with freedom. If you love freedom, you got to be willing to defend it, because there are people out there that want to take it away from us.
Melise and other vets were honored at Grace Fellowship Church across the street from Fairview Cemetery, where it was supposed to be held, but it didn't happen due to the weather. Pastor Doug Munn says it didn't matter. The community showed a lot of love.
Seeing the community come together, honoring our veterans, seeing the city band out here, the mayor, our legislator.
And here comes the good part.
And it was a lot warmer inside.
But outside is where local Kyle Brimley came to visit. Two of his relatives fought in armed forces, his dad and his stepdad.
A two-time Golden Glove boxer. He was going to play pro football, but he had to go in the military.
And for his other dad,
he had the cleaners on 11th Street in Coffeyville.
Melise says the true heroes are right here.
The real heroes are the ones that are in the graves, the ones that didn't make it back home. And we're the only voice they have as veterans. And so for me personally, I feel it as a duty and a responsibility.
Reporting in Coffeyville, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, the entire event was open to the public. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A major fire breaks out at Ecuador's largest oil refinery, sending large amounts of smoke into the air. Plus, 45 people, including 4 children, are injured after a minivan rams through a crowd in Liverpool, England. And our tracking rain chances for today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping World Watch this morning, 170 trucks filled with medicine, medical supplies, and food crossed into the Gaza Strip Monday, according to the Israeli military. Israel says the trucks belong to the United Nations and other aid organizations. They entered through the Kerem Shalom crossing after undergoing a security inspection. Israel faced massive pressure from its allies and other global forces as health experts warn a famine is imminent in Gaza. The country has since began letting in some humanitarian aid last week after an almost 3-month blockade. A major fire at an Ecuadorian oil refinery forces employees out of the location. The fire engulfed the country's largest refinery in Esmeraldas on Monday. Firefighters worked to contain the fire, which sent large amounts of smoke into the air, forcing workers to evacuate the plant. No one was injured in the fire, and an investigation is underway to determine what caused it to erupt. The refinery was built in 1971 and has the capacity to process around 110,000 barrels of crude oil per day. Police say more than 45 people, including 4 children, were hurt when a man drove a minivan through a crowd of revelers in Liverpool, England, celebrating the city's Premier League championship. Now, the man was arrested and is believed to have acted alone. Wendy Gillette has more.
These celebratory cheers were short-lived after UK police say a ramming incident left dozens of soccer fans injured Monday. Paramedics tended to those in need after the attack turned the day into a scene of terror.
We believe this to be an isolated incident, and we are not currently looking for anyone else in relation to it. The incident is not being treated as terrorism.
A 53-year-old British man was arrested. Witnesses say the crowd swarmed the vehicle after it hit people and smashed its windows. The driver accelerated again, striking more victims, trapping some of them under the van.
Our crews rapidly lifted the vehicle, removed 3 adults and 1 child from beneath, and passed them to our ambulance service colleagues.
Before the attack, red confetti rained through the air as hundreds of thousands celebrated their team's victory in the streets, a parade that had spanned 10 miles.
A family, a unit.
The incident brought swarms of police officers to the street where it happened. It's one of several car rammings across the world this year. On New Year's Day, 15 people were killed when a U.S. man drove a vehicle into a crowd celebrating on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. In April, 11 people died in an attack at a festival in Vancouver, Canada. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
The team and Premier League both issued statements offering prayers for the victims. And still to come, a new study suggests that climate change is making allergy season more severe. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. Well, it's supposed to be an unforgettable night at prom turned into an unforgettable night of heroism for a trio of teens who helped alert a family to a garage on fire. Jeremy Rath has today's Take a Look at This.
Watch a group of high school prom goers in New York heroically alert a family to a raging garage fire.
Your house is on fire! Your house is on fire!
Aiden Kane and his friends were headed to an after-prom party when they say they spotted an orange glow they thought was a bonfire. But the teens quickly realized it was a garage fully engulfed in flames and ran to the house to alert a man and two girls still inside.
You guys gotta get out.
The group was able to get the family to safety before fire officials arrived to tackle the blaze. The family, who was not injured, says they are grateful for the teens' help, and WKTV reports the Maynard Fire Department took it a step further, calling the group heroes. Speaking of heroes, check out the daring actions of police in New Jersey who rushed to pull a driver from a vehicle stopped in the path of a speeding train. Police say the driver was impaired and unable to get out of the car on his own, so as the oncoming train's horn blared, officers pulled him from the vehicle mere moments before it was plowed into by the speeding locomotive. Yikes. Finally, another police vehicle interaction caught on camera in Australia was less harrowing and more just doggone dumbfounding. The Sunshine Coast Highway Patrol spotted a motorbike rider with a fairly large dog strapped upright to their chest. The officer cited the driver, saying even though the dog seemed content on the bike, and it certainly did, the crazy getup could place the rider, the pooch, or other motorists at risk. The department later shared the Rough Rider vid, saying, "We know how attached people are to their pets, but it's best to apply a pause-off approach on our roads." For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch storm tracker is clear, but that is simply because showers drizzle. That light stuff doesn't show up. However, more rain on the way. A full look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:20 now on this Tuesday morning. We're starting again with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Now, for right now, you can see little light showers showing up. There is drizzle out there for some of us, but again, it's not going to show up on the radar. We did have some showers, thunderstorms south of the Oklahoma City area. Those are beginning to fizzle out. We're in kind of a lull right now, but shower and thunderstorm activity will start to pick back up again here before too much longer, honestly, and that's why we're starting to see some of these showers trying to come back together out here. And as we roll through today, another wet day for us. More showers, few rumbles of thunder. Again, good news, no severe weather expected, but no dry weather really expected either. By noon, showers across the area. Now, what's going to happen, though, we have a little change taking place today. We're going to get a little more sunshine. We're going to start to go a little more mostly cloudy instead of just straight up cloudy like we've been the last few days in between some of these showers and storms. And as I mentioned earlier, I think the future track's holding on to the rain a little too late. I think by about 5, we're left with just a few showers, and by 6, it should be out of here. Now, overnight tonight, we should be mostly cloudy, but something to keep in mind, we'll also have calm winds. We are looking at the potential for patchy dense fog as we go overnight tonight into tomorrow. So do keep that in mind for your morning commute. Just plan ahead. Be prepared for your commute to be a little slower than what it ordinarily would be on a Wednesday morning. And it's been a while since we've had some fog. I remember a couple of weeks ago, every morning it seemed we were talking about fog out there. By afternoon hours, we are partly to mostly cloudy. And then as we roll later into the evening and overnight hours, we'll start to see an increase of spotty showers and even a couple of rumbles of thunder late Wednesday night, and those will continue into Thursday and through the day on Thursday. We'll see additional showers, some thunderstorms out there, nothing severe. And as you can see, the rain, while will be cloudy most of Thursday, the rain is very sporadic. It's not going to be everywhere all at once for us, and it will begin to wrap up as we go into the overnight hours on Thursday and into Friday morning. We'll finally start to clear out a bit, but it's going to take a minute to get there. With all the rain we've already had, it's going to be a long couple of days to get to those clear skies. 60 to start, temperature similar to yesterday, not moving too terribly much, at least not through the morning. Some scattered showers out there, low 60s still by about 11 o'clock this morning. Now again, once we start settling into kind of that mostly cloudy pattern, that's going to be enough sunshine to help warm us up just a bit. We're looking at going mid, maybe even upper 60s for us out there this afternoon. With a few scattered showers and storms, north breeze 5 to 10 miles an hour, but bear in mind our average high is roughly 15 degrees warmer than where we're going to be today. Tonight, very similar. Temperatures back into the upper 50s. It's another gradual drop back in those temps. Mostly cloudy skies. Again, that patchy fog late tonight into early tomorrow morning, and winds will be calm. Again, showers, thunderstorms, especially in the late afternoon, evening, and overnight hours, Wednesday into Thursday. Now, we'll also be a little warmer because we're going to get a little more sunshine tomorrow. So a few more low to mid 70s, still below normal, but not bad. As we roll into the weekend, a couple of pop-up storms look possible for Saturday. Nothing to necessarily worry about, but you certainly want to keep an eye on it because this is going to be a pretty nice weekend otherwise, as we see temperatures climbing back, maybe even above normal, getting into the low to mid 80s. So if you're heading out to the pool or anything this weekend, great weather to do so, but on Saturday you just want to make sure you're paying close attention because you know with those pop-up storms they can spring up pretty quickly without a lot of warning. And remember, when thunder roars, you need to head indoors. I know it's one of those old cliched saying, but it is true because lightning can strike up to 15 miles from apparent thunderstorm, so just keep that in mind this weekend. Otherwise, not too bad. I'll have a few scattered showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms next Tuesday. Temperatures remaining quite warm. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Lisa now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, baby food pouches sold in 8 states is being recalled due to elevated lead levels. The Associated Press reports that the recalled brands were sold at public stores and are labeled as Green Wise Pear, Kiwi Spinach, and Pea baby food pouches. Publix says all the contaminated products are off store shelves and no illnesses have been reported. Well, if you've noticed your allergies getting worse, there's a reason. Because of climate change, allergy season is getting longer and more severe. The Asthma and Allergy Foundation say the worst cities to live in for people with allergies are Wichita, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Memphis. Now, the good news, treatment for seasonal allergies have gotten more effective recently. And a reminder that everyone should be wearing sunscreen, even people with darker skin. Now, there's a misconception that the melanin in darker skin offers enough protection against the sun, but dermatologists say that's not good enough. While Black and Hispanic people are less likely to get skin cancer, they're also more likely to die from the disease. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, Crawford County officials warn drivers after floodwaters destroy roads.
Now we've got some sprinkles, some drizzle out there for some of us. More rain on the way once again. A look at that forecast. Get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, we'll hear the story of a 104-year-old World War II veteran from Southwest Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:28. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Tuesday. It's May the 27th, and we had some rain yesterday. And, well, if you really like the rain, we've got more on the way.
Okay.
But I think just about everybody's kind of done with the rain
Yeah.
at this point. We need a break. And
Absolutely.
we're finally going to get one. We just got a little ways to go before we get there. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are cloudy this morning. And as I mentioned, we do have some drizzle out there. And on my high wind. Again, it was earlier this morning, but there was some heavy drizzle actually on the way from Joplin to here. But it doesn't again show up on the radar. MoDOT camera, 30-second range light, by the way, looking good. So this is what I'm talking about. Skywatch Storm Tracker looks clear of rain, but that's not necessarily the case. Drizzle, those sprinkles, they're too finite for a radar beam to really pick up on them. And even then, it takes quite a bit to even generate these spotty showers that you're seeing back around Osage County into northern Oklahoma. So here's what we've got. Right now, not much. We had some rain that was detectable on radar earlier this morning. It is gone. There were even some thunderstorms rolling through the Oklahoma City area this morning. All that's kind of fizzled out, and you may be looking at this going, oh, well, hey, good. We're finally going to get that break. Not so fast. We're not quite done yet. We have another wave coming through that in the next hour or so should begin generating more showers, possibly a rumble of thunder. No severe weather. I do want to emphasize that. That's some good news. Yesterday, today, with these storm chances and the rain chances, no severe weather. But as you can see on the future track by noon, we are looking at additional scattered showers hanging on across the area. Now, as I've mentioned this morning, if you're just joining us, I think the future track's holding on to the rain a little too late this evening. I think by 6 at the latest, we're done. We'll see for sure, but either way, we will finally start to get a break late this evening into the overnight hours. But we got more rain to get through between here and there. 57 in Joplin, 58 in Pittsburgh, and as I mentioned, yesterday, temperatures really didn't move that much yesterday, and they didn't move much overnight. We've only had a few degrees change in the last 24 hours or so. Same case this morning. We've got mid-upper 50s, got some 60-degree readings out there, several 60-degree readings out there. But again, it's not all that dissimilar from where we were for our ultimate highs yesterday afternoon. Today, here's one thing that's going to change. Instead of just being locked in with cloudiness, even when it's not raining, we're going to go to mostly cloudy skies, which means some of us will get a little break in the rain and get a little sunshine in there. So that'll help us warm up a bit with our highs going right around the mid-60s. But even being a little warmer today, we're still about 15 degrees cooler than average for this time of year with our temperatures into the 60s. And we'll have that north breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, even though we're going to get a break, we have one more round of showers and storms to get through before we get a nicer, warmer break. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, in Crawford County, Kansas, several roads were shut down after heavy flooding washed out portions of the roadway. Commissioner Bruce Blair says the damage is significant, and county officials are urging people to turn around and find a safer route instead of trying to drive through. Now, they say the road and bridge department immediately began assessing the damage and implementing safety closures while also looking at long-term repairs. Missouri's governor is seeking a federal disaster declaration in response to the May 16th severe storms and tornadoes. Governor Mike Kehoe is asking that President Trump approve the declaration for the city of St. Louis County, and 6 southeast Missouri counties. Additionally, the governor says the state National Guard will help with cleanup in the St. Louis area. Now, the May 16th storms in Missouri claimed 7 lives and caused widespread destruction of homes, businesses, and public infrastructure. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Sky Watch Weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Sky Watch Weather app. Well, more than 16 million Americans fought in World War II, and according to the Department of Veteran Affairs, about 66,000 are still living today. Reporter Jackie Garrity was able to sit down with one of our Southwest Missouri veterans with an incredible story of bravery and a call to serve.
It may seem as if it's an average day for the nurses at the Jane Taylor Veterans Outpatient Clinic in Springfield. Harriet Daniels is here to get a checkup, something she's been doing for 40 years at the VA.
So we're listening to your hearts.
What you wouldn't know about Harriet, just by looking at her, is that she's also a 104-year-old World War II veteran.
In communications, the front was only about, I think it was about 10 miles away, and we could hear the guns and stuff. But fortunately, They never did, the Germans never did break through.
Harriet has called Aurora home for decades, where her son Tommy, a Vietnam War veteran, lives 5 blocks from her. She was even given the key to the city at her 100th birthday, but she was born in 1921 in Northeast Oklahoma.
Of course, I was raised during the Depression, so nobody had any money. Everybody was poor, I guess.
Harriet and her family were living in Kansas City when World War II broke out. Her brother was drafted and sent to the South Pacific.
Every day when I got off of work, there was this poster, this big poster, and it had Uncle Sam, and he says, "I want you." So I went home and I told Mom that I was going to join the WAC.
After Harriet joined the WAC, the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, she was sent to Fort Des Moines and then Daytona Beach, Florida.
And there was rumors that we were a special group and that we would probably be going overseas. But you don't have to go if you don't want to. Well, after I'd been through all this, I decided, well, I guess I'm going to go.
And then she shipped out over the Atlantic to North Africa and then
put us on airplanes and sent us to Italy.
Harriet spent the war sending teletype messages for the Allied forces in the European theater. While over there, she met her husband and they married in Italy. But due to supply shortages during the war, they had to get creative when it came to making her wedding dress.
The girls decided in my room, there was 10 of us in the room, and but one of them, she decided, well, she would make my wedding dress. And I remember they stood me up on a chair and put this big parachute silk around me. So my dress was made out of a part of a parachute.
Do you have so much pride for what you did, that you were the greatest generation and part of the biggest battle, arguably, in world history?
Well, at the time we didn't, but now I do. I think, I guess it was one of the biggest generations, and I guess I do think that I'm proud I am part of it.
A living legacy and honoring those who paid the ultimate sacrifice and aren't here to tell their stories today.
Well, Harriet worked at Juvenile Shoes for more than 20 years, and her husband died in 1968. Her brother also survived the war. She said she kept in touch with her roommates for many years, but sadly, she believes she is the only one left. These days, she enjoys doing crafts and watching NASCAR. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump threatens to shift billions from Harvard to trade schools amid an ongoing legal battle. Plus, Swedish carmaker Volvo is set to slash 3,000 jobs. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, President Donald Trump has threatened to divert $3 billion in federal grant money from Harvard University to trade schools, he said in a post on social media. Now, it's unclear how the president would shift the funding. The White House and the Ivy League College are locked in a legal battle after the Trump administration froze billions in funding while accusing Harvard of not doing enough to address anti-Semitism on campus. Harvard didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. A Swedish car maker Volvo is slashing 3,000 jobs in order to cut costs amid trade and economic uncertainty. The company says around 2,200 of the eliminated positions are based in Sweden, and the rest will come from other global markets. The job cuts are focused on office positions. And now the class of 2025 can get free donuts with their diplomas. Tomorrow, Krispy Kreme is giving college and high school grads a free 3-pack of original glazed donuts if they wear their cap and gown or senior swag to stores. Now, some grads could be selected to get a new diploma inspired by the classic Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go, which comes with free donuts for a year. That's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Let's head over to Chris now for a quick look at your forecast.
We've got those cloudy skies continuing. Again, some drizzle out there for some of us. More rain chances, though, as we roll into the afternoon. Well, even through the morning hours and into the afternoon. I know we're tired of the rain. We've needed the rain. Don't get me wrong, after last year, but we've got a little too much. We will get a break in this rain. We'll have the details when we come back.
Farming plays a big role in the nation's economy, but it plays an even bigger role in certain parts of America. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Glenn Griffith with today's Ag Day Minute. What areas of the country are most reliant on farming? Well, USDA has a new look. Its Economic Research Service creating this map showing that the counties that rely on ag tend to be located in the center of the country. It tallied up 453 counties where farming is particularly important, finding those classified as having a high concentration of earnings and jobs in farming tended to be primarily in rural areas. Now you see them there in yellow on the map. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins has signed additional waivers permitting Iowa and Indiana to restrict the use of Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits for certain processed foods and sugary drinks. It follows her recent approval for a similar waiver for Nebraska. Secretary Rollins has called on other governors to submit similar waivers. And not your typical rest stop on the highway, the New York State Thruway Authority recently called into action near Buffalo after a semi hauling cows broke down on I-90. That's when a Thruway team stepped into action so the animals wouldn't overheat. Crews helping to unload the 16 cows into a gated area at a nearby exit so they could move around. Water was brought in and the team used the digging bucket of an excavator as a makeshift trough. Officials sharing their work on social media saying it was a story too good not to milk. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
We've got drizzle, we've got showers here and there. Not a lot showing up on radar, but some minor changes. And again, we're not expecting anything crazy, but here's what we see. See these showers right here into parts of Elk County and then just outside of our immediate area back into the Osage Nation. Yeah, those weren't there a few minutes ago. That's what I was talking about. We had some rain that was detectable on radar, and then it kind of died out, and now we're seeing the regeneration of new showers out here because we're not quite done with the rain yet. I know that's not the news you want to hear. I know that's not what you want me to tell you, but that's what I've got to tell you is we're not quite done with the rain just yet, but by this weekend, things are looking a lot better. Let's get through the next 24 hours. Let's get through, now into the weekend, honestly. So right now, again, Skywatch Storm Tracker, not a lot on there, but also bear in mind, there's some drizzle out there, even some heavy drizzle at times. So be aware of that because some of the heavier drizzle, some of that heavier mist could reduce visibility slightly. As we go through the morning and into the afternoon, rain will begin to increase again in coverage. Could get a rumble of thunder here or there. No severe weather expected, nothing quite like that. But we'll hold on to another round of scattered showers and storms. Now, one thing on the future track that's showing up and is looking likely here is, do you see these little spots here in the clouds where the sun breaks, at least in some places? That's where we go to the mostly cloudy skies. And the reason that's important is because we'll get a little more sunshine mixed in with our rain. And that will allow us to be a little warmer today than where we have been the last couple of days. Because keep in mind, our average high, 80 degrees. We are almost, even today, still almost 15 degrees off that mark for our high temperatures for many of us across the area. Now, late this evening, I'd say by 6, we're kind of done with showers for a while. We'll go mostly cloudy overnight, could get some patchy fog. We're going to have calm winds. We've had a lot of rain, so keep that in mind as you start your morning commute on Wednesday. Might need to leave a little earlier, at least be prepared for your morning commute to go a little slower because you could run into some patchy, dense fog out there. Now, for the first half of our Wednesday, we're going to be partly to mostly cloudy, so with a little more sunshine mixed in there, we're going to get a little warmer for our highs. And as we start rolling into the late afternoon, evening hours, we'll start to see scattered showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms. Again, nothing severe expected, but could get some rumbles of thunder. Now, those will be scattered as we go overnight from Wednesday into Thursday. We go into Thursday morning. Some good news. You see the showers, how spotty they are for Thursday? We have shower chances all day across the area, but it's another one of those situations where it's not rain everywhere all at once. It's going to be very scattered. Now, we're still going to be stuck with cloudy skies, though, so it's still going to be a bit dreary, even if it's not raining where you are. But we'll have that shower chance continuing. Now, as we roll into the late evening and overnight hours on Thursday into Friday morning, look at that. Partly cloudy skies, things clearing out, things looking a little better as we roll into the upcoming weekend. All right, here's our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. It's cloudy, it's dark, it's drab, and it will be that way once again this morning. Showers continuing out there. About 60 to start and around the low 60s by 11 o'clock this morning, and into the afternoon we go. We start to see temperatures again a little warmer thanks to a little extra sunshine trying to peek in out there. We're going to go mid 60s, maybe even some upper 60s in some locations. Down south of Grove, Grand Lake, Benton County, those areas you might get a little more sunshine today. You might be a little warmer than everyone else. While the north breeze around 5 to 10. Into the evening and overnight, mostly cloudy skies continue. It's a slow drop back into the upper 50s. Calm winds and all that combined with the rain, the moisture and everything. We're looking at that patchy fog late this evening into the overnight and early morning hours tomorrow. The evening storms are late afternoon evening storms tomorrow. Showers Thursday, but a little milder, 70s. But then take a look, Friday. Sunshine returns. Saturday, it's not a panic about this day, but it is a keep an eye on the sky day because we get into that pop-up storm period where those storms can develop very quickly. Not necessarily severe, but lightning's dangerous regardless. So when thunder roars, head indoors if you're going out this weekend. Otherwise, looking great in the Monday, low to mid 80s, so a little above normal. A few more rain chances by next Tuesday. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise with a check of morning sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, we've moved on past district and regional tournaments for high school baseball in the 4 states. Now we get the week started with a Class 2 sectional playoff game. New Heights Christian Academy takes on Miller in the Class 2 sectionals, and this one goes to the Cardinals. They win 10-6 and advance to the state quarterfinals, where they'll face the winner of Hartville and Gainesville, who meet up tomorrow. The Cougars put up a good fight, but they trailed 9-0 at one point. But this loss ends their season with a final record of 18-7. The Missouri High School Softball Class 1 and 2 state semifinals were supposed to take place yesterday afternoon. Mother Nature had other plans, though, and all of the games scheduled for yesterday get pushed to today and later in the day as well. Now, Diamond High School Softball is hoping to repeat as the Class 2 state champion. The Lady Wildcats are set to face Kennett at 3 o'clock. That's the same team who the Lady Wildcats beat in the state title game a year ago. Well, in Major League Baseball, we're about 1/3 of the way finished with the 2025 regular season. The Cardinals and Royals both have winning records, but if the season were to end today, only one would make the playoffs, and that's Kansas City. The Cardinals began a brief road trip in Baltimore, first of a 3-game series. Third inning with his dad, Matt, looking on, former #1 overall draft pick Jackson Holliday with a base hit to left center. Orioles up 2-0. Next inning, Dylan Carlson takes Eric Fetty deep to right center and gone for a 3-run homer. It's his second of the year and stretches the lead to 5. On the 5th, the Cardinals finally get on the scoreboard after Pedro Paulhez pulls it down the line. That stays fair for a 2-run home run. But that would be it for the Cardinals in terms of runs. Baltimore turns to Felix Bautista to finish it off in the 9th inning. And the Orioles take down the Cardinals. Final score 5-2. In Kansas City, Korean War veteran Victor Tennyson throws out the first pitch to get things started on Memorial Day. Amid some raindrops, Gavin Lux hits a bloop to shallow center in the 3rd inning, and that brings in a run. Reds lead 2-0. Next batter, Tyler Stephenson, has another base hit, and that scores another run to make it 3-0. Now in the 5th, here's Stephenson again. This time he takes Michael Lorenzen deep for a 2-run homer. The Reds catcher went 3-5 with 3 RBI. Royals down big on the scoreboard, but still exciting to see Bobby Witt Jr. make plays like this in the 6th. He spins and makes the throw to get Ellie De La Cruz out at first, bottom of the 7th. The Royals finally get some runs. Salvador Perez goes deep for his 4th home run of the year. On the 8th, Kansas City is pulled to win 3, but Santiago Espinal pads the lead with an RBI double to the right. And the Reds take down the Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Final score 7-4. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back. The country music icon is bringing Southern comfort to the frozen food aisle. Dolly Parton says she wants to pass on to her fans the nostalgia of distinctly Southern food she loves with the Dolly Parton frozen food line through Conagra. Now, the Southern classics include shrimp and grits, chicken and dumplings, country fried steak, beef pot roast, and for dessert, bake and serve biscuit batter peach cobbler. Parton says she collaborated with Conagra to make sure the recipes taste just like her favorite meals. And it's one of the most popular fruits around the world. We're talking about grapes. Today is National Grape Day. Archaeologists report that grapes have been around for 130 million years. Today, there are nearly 10,000 known varieties of grapes from around the world, and about 1,300 of those are specific varieties found in vineyards. The Department of Agriculture says 6 million tons of grapes are grown in the U.S. each year. Of that, more than 70% goes to winemaking. So, of course, you can celebrate the day with a glass of wine, but if that's not your thing, head to the grocery store to buy some grapes. They're perfect for snacking or on a salad.
I think they're just perfect for snacking. I mean, the green ones are a little tart to me, but the red ones, they're always sweet and juicy. And I don't know if any of you have ever been to Hy-Vee, but they've got, and I'm sure they're not the only ones, it's just that's where I first found them, okay? Cotton candy flavored grapes.
Those are good.
Those are
Those
amazing.
are great.
So my wife found them. We went to Hy-Vee as she found them, and they are incredible. If you haven't tried them, I'm sure we've got them down here. It's just that's where we were when we first spotted them. Totally worth the try, okay? They are amazing. What is not amazing is this forecast. See, I built you all up, and now I have to bring you right back down with cloudy skies. Rain showers continuing through the morning, hovering in the low 60s. Mostly cloudy this afternoon, so a little more sunshine means a little warmer, maybe some mid-60s out there. North breeze around 5 to 10. Rain should wrap up by 6, so we'll get a break late this evening and overnight. Mostly cloudy, some patchy fog toward the overnight hours and sunrise tomorrow. In the low 70s, afternoon and evening storms tomorrow. More scattered showers Thursday. Will clear out a bit heading into the weekend. Let's check your forecast. We've got another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.